The USC Trojans suffered their first blemish on the recruiting trail in 2026 as number one JUCO quarterback Jakwon Morris flipped his commitment from USC to Illinois on Thanksgiving. Why did this happen, and what does this mean for the class moving forward? Let's get into it. Hey, Trojan family, what's up? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. Here on the LAFB network, I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Hope everyone had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving. So much to be thankful for here at LAFB and in the Dyrud house. Thankful for all of you. Thank you for making this show always a part of your daily watch or listen. Thankful for all you subscribers. Appreciate you for helping grow the show. And to all of our members out there, super thankful for you, and anyone else that wants to become a member, get some membership perks, help us to continue grow this thing, and it helps us out and helps our families out here at LAFB a ton. So would be even more thankful for more of you to become, members here at USC LAFB. So that would be fantastic. But hope everyone had a great time, great food. I had a great time. Me and my wife and daughter went over to my mother-in-law's house, so great time with family. Watching some football, eating some obviously delicious food. I gotta say, I say this every year. Everyone's got their Thanksgiving traditions or different meal quirks. There's obviously the obvious staples, the turkey, the cranberries, the stuffing, whatever it may be. My wife is Mexican, and so one of the things they do, which I had never had, it's nothing like crazy, but one of the things they do that I'd never had on Thanksgiving till, we got together is jalapeno poppers, homemade, fantastic. Not seen as a Thanksgiving dish, but it's a great appetizer leading to the main course. And then two, her mom makes, a really good homemade salsa. And when you instead of using gravy, you use this salsa rojo on the turkey. Fantastic. Game changer. So that's our little Mexican flavor on Thanksgiving, which is absolutely loved and become a staple in our house. So hope everyone had a great time. Unfortunately, not all great news on Thanksgiving. As many of you I'm sure know now, USC suffered their first decommitment, or their first flip, we should say. Well, not really first. There's one that happened a long time ago, but it's been a long time, and obviously these closing months, they've held completely firm and pat and looked like they were going to almost make it unscathed, as signing day is just, 4 days away, next Wednesday. So unfortunately suffered their first, as the number one JUCO cornerback in this class, Jakwon Morris, has flipped his commitment from USC to the Illinois Fighting Illini. Now, why did this happen? And what does this mean for the class now? And will they perhaps pursue a flip of their own at this now position? So the story, as being, I have heard from others, as well as being reported by our friend Scott Schrader, is that Jakwon Morris took an official visit to Illinois with a teammate. And because of that, USC basically said, we have a strict no-visit policy. We've talked about it a lot on this show, and many of you know. We have a strict no-visit policy. You went ahead and did an official visit. Unfortunately, we're going to part ways. That's what's being reported. That's what I've heard. Jakwon Morris quote tweeted that story, saying, if this is what you guys like to tell yourselves, have at it. So, he's obviously going to have a different kind of perception of what went down. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Ultimately, I think it does come down to a visit did occur, and USC has a no-visit policy, and so they adhered to that policy and moved on. Let's start at the flip first. This is an unfortunate loss. I think Morris has shown some good things. Obviously, I've talked about these JUCO products are a little bit more, maybe not polished is the right word, but certainly have a little bit more big boy experience than like high school kids coming straight out of high school. Just because, obviously, the community college route is, you got to absolutely love the game. You're not getting paid, you're not getting NIL. You're playing in, bus rides and totally different travel accommodations. And so you got to really love it and work your craft to try to make it to the D1 level. And we've seen some great prospects come out of that. Obviously, the most obvious one being Wayman Jordan this year. So there is something I really like about these JUCO prospects coming over. And so he had that pedigree. He's obviously rated as the number one cornerback, has kind of a mean streak to him the way he plays. I think he would have really fit in this system and been able to, have an impact early on just because he does have that community college experience, which is going to be a little bit more rigorous than, a high school experience coming in. So that is a loss. It is an unfortunate loss. On the flip side of that, no pun intended, I think there's two things, and we'll talk about the rest of the class here in a second, but I think it's really impactful and important for USC to stand by policies that they implement. We all talk about and fans talk about, the discipline in this team. And I actually I did ask the question, but we had our conference call with Coach Riley this morning where I asked him about discipline. I'm going to do a video on that here in just a little bit on the overall press conference. So be on the lookout for that. But we talk about discipline and accountability, and that's not just on game days. That's not just on the practice field. That has to be with the program fully encompassed, and that's in the recruiting realms as well. If you're going to have a disciplined, accountable program, when you put policies in place, those have to be stuck by regardless of who it is. If you bend on those, then that's bad discipline for the entire program. People might not see it that way and say, well, this is how recruiting goes, and it's soft that they don't let kids take visits and whatnot. It's about sticking with your policies, sticking with your accountability, and sticking with the culture you're building to kind of grow that discipline. And that has to be all-encompassing across every levels of the program. So in that regard, as much as I'd hate to see this kid go, and to be honest, based on kind of some other stuff I've heard and read, even with the visit, I think he still fully intended to sign with USC on signing day. I don't think he was like trending to flip based on the visit. It was more USC saying, you took the visit. Sorry, we told you no. We told you can't do that, and you did it. So we're pulling our offer away. And so then obviously the story or the tweet is he flips to Illinois. I think more in reality it was USC said, we're pulling our thing, and then you now can go there if you'd like. But it seemed like he was still going to sign here regardless. So it's unfortunate. But I think that is a good thing that USC is overall standing by this. And it's a good policy to kind of have. And many will see the overall policy as whatever you want to call it, harsh or unfair. But when you look now at the 27 class, there's a big reason why they don't have a commitment yet. Again, I have zero concern about that. But this is not something that is told to recruits after they commit, or not told to something after recruits are committed and then they want to go on a visit and then USC buckles down. This is told at the jump since Chad Bowden has been here. This has been something that's been implemented since Bowden got on campus, and all recruits know going into it. So when they make that verbal commitment, they know, okay, this is it. I can't take any more visits. I'm committed to USC. USC's committed to me. Let's go make it happen. So for this 27 class, I think that's why you're seeing guys like, and this is more now just speculation, guys like a Duve Williams that I think probably would have been committed 8 months ago. But USC said, hey, once you commit here, that's it. If you want to go explore and take other visits, like, we have no problem with that. That's the college recruiting experience. Go do that. See what you want to see. You know our offer. You know where we stand. But once you commit, that's it. It's done. It's over. You're a USC Trojan. So I think that's why some of these other kids that are pretty locked in with USC haven't officially verbalized their commitment yet, because, USC is telling them if you want to go do visits, do it now. Because once you verbalize, that's it. So, this isn't, people can have any opinion on you want. I'm not even really giving a full opinion. I kind of like it personally. To me, maybe I compare too much to life experience, but once just the word commitment, you make a commitment, I don't see why you need to make other visits. Go do your visits before you commit. Go date around, You're welcome to go if you're just in the dating stages. Go date. Go on dates. Once you commit to someone, yeah, you may not be married, but you're still making a commitment to that single person. Once you commit to a school, you're still making a commitment to that single school. Now, in college recruiting, there's other things that obviously happen. It's not as granular as two people dating, but I think it's a fairly easy comparison in just the definition of the commitment. Why commit somewhere if you still want to go see what's out there? You don't have to commit. Now, there are probably some schools that say, hey, we don't want you to leave here without committing. And they just, like to have that verbal regardless. But I think USC's approach is, once you commit, like let's be committed to each other. So unfortunate loss, but hey, wish him nothing but the best. I do think he's a really good player. We're not going to come on here and say, oh, good riddance. This guy wasn't worth being here anyway. No, he's a good baller. I mean, he's a good player. Illinois got a good one for sure. But you gotta respect SC and Bode and the staff for kind of standing on business and sticking with the policy they've implemented as they continue to grow the discipline and the culture of this program. It's got to be full encompassing, as I've said. So when you look now kind of at this class, you're down now to 34. So there could certainly be a push for another corner/safety in this class. You do still have 5 corners committed and the 1 safety, Madden Riordan. So I always say 6 DBs because ultimately 1 or 2 of these guys will probably end up playing safety versus corner. But you still have the headliners in Elbert Hill and Brandon Lockhart, obviously. Peyton Dyer's locked in, great corner out of Georgia. Joshua Holland, who's been locked in forever since Bosco. And then the same weekend they got Morris, they flipped Jaden Crowder, Santa Margarita, from Cal. So he was kind of in that same weekend of commitments with Morris. And then obviously, as I mentioned, Madden Riordan, as safety from Sierra Canyon. So it's not like they're now scraping by with very few cornerbacks. They still have 6 total defensive backs in this class. But it would not surprise me at all now if this opens up for them to push for some other flip or just gives them another roster spot for 27. I've mentioned before, Danny Lang, Aaron Washington, Duve Williams, Gavin Williams, all these different cornerbacks, and they really only had 4 spots, or defensive back, and they really only had 4 spots in 27. Maybe this now transfers to, okay, now we have 5 spots in 27 if we don't flip one more for 26. So bummer to lose that kid, but I think overall, you got to stand on business, got to stick with policy, and the class is still, it's not like a huge hurt to the overall class. Bummer to lose that type of player and his skill set, but you still have 6 defensive backs that you can grow and develop here. So the numbers are still high, and statistically, you still have a really good shot of having, some elite players at that position. And remember, obviously, RJ Sermons was in this class as well before reclassifying to get on campus over the summer. So if you kind of look at it like that in terms of age with red shirts and stuff, you still have 7 defensive backs in this class in a sense. So we'll see what happens. A few more days. I'm going to be on here a lot with recruiting stuff because I think it's going to get hot and heavy here in the last couple of days. We're seeing flips all over the country. USC has done a really good job of not having any flips that weren't kind of out of their control based on what we know now in this instance. So will they get to Wednesday with all 34? I feel really good about it, but we'll see. I'll be on here with all the news coming from you on anything that changes or whatnot. So that's it for that. Like I said, I'll be back here in just a bit with my thoughts and notes from Lincoln Riley's final regular season press conference we just had a couple hours ago. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you as always. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Become a member if you'd be willing. That'd be huge. And make sure to check out our forum over at LAFBnetwork.com. Got the USC message board there. I'm going to be building some USC groups, some team chats, a lot of community engaging aspects that we're building over there. So make sure to check that out. Thank you, family. And as always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily Pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Maiava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USC LAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.